Alright, there's really no reason to keep engaging in a conversation with Hothlow Dave. He's got issues. With his anus. Anal issues that are just so bad that there's just no, you just don't want to go there. It's just a horrible mess. So he's complaining about Inmendham draws first blood, blah blah blah. I'll draw second, fifth, 10th, 500th blood. You're insane. Sorry, you're fucking insane. And your rhetoric is excessive and extreme and nonsensical. And I really, who wants to do this parsing? But I'll say the only value that's come out of it is my just now realization that a lot of people complain about it, metaphorical or analogous, and I'd say these words are probably analogies, not metaphors, being an inappropriate way to argue. And I was just thinking of the word poster child. It's a concept now. It's understood as a concept. I mean, there was a first poster child, and then it became a poster child. Poster child is essentially a poster child for poster childness, or for analogies that become explicit concepts. So there are analogies and metaphors that are so clear in their interpretation, so direct, so unobscure in their statement, in what they're saying, what they're describing, that they're no longer fables or stories or metaphors or myths or some other thing. They are explicit statements. So I suppose I would argue that words like cannibalism are now no longer, it's no longer an analogy, to use the word. It's like murder. Well, that was murder, because you had to clean some ditch up or something. The understanding is so explicit and so clear that it's not an analogy or a metaphor anymore. It's a statement. But regardless, so that's valuable. I think it's worth understanding that there are some cliches, some bits of words, some combinations of words that are very explicit in what they're describing conceptually. And that's really my focus, is conveying concepts. Concepts are what we're attempting to convey in the truth of language. Language really is about describing the very function of logic, which is description and category, property and category. And and I think I do that very well. Anyway, so there's value in this. As much as I have to concede it's irritating, obnoxious, and I can't stand listening to this crap. You always find some, unfortunately, there is redeeming value. Okay. Whether in the original context of that statement or analogy or not. Yeah. Silver linings and such. Again, like I said, these are not inexplicit statements. But again, I'm going to defend my statement here. You sat there. I mean, I could play your entire clip saying that I acknowledged and I accepted that somehow this word is invalid, and I did not do that. So that part of your statement is a lie. There's no way you could interpret my statement as anything other than a rebuttal against your accusation that the word was used excessively metaphorically, or metaphorically in any catastrophic sense. And that's what I clearly defended. And now you have just become a poster child for your duplicity. okay? In the sense that you people are constantly accusing me of manipulating your clips, and yet you sit here, deliberately manipulate a clip, clearly, just overtly, to deny me the right to say my contextual statement. You're deliberately abusing my sentence structure to your advantage. I mean, this is just duplicitous, hypocritical, and can only be evidence of very poor character on your part. Yeah, very poor.
That the word cannibalism was in some sense metaphoric or figurative.
So anyway, your argument wasn't that it was in some sense metaphoric. Your argument was that it was catastrophically metaphoric. So again, another deception, another lie. He's saying now I made a concession on this word cannibalism, which is just a lie.
Here it comes from the previous video.
Again, I played the entire clip in my video. I'm not gonna, I mean, I really, if I have to play it again, anybody watching it will clearly say, just like anybody who says, well, that guy was a, blah, 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 and then they say, wait, okay, not a blah, 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 he was a blah, 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 blah. And you just totally denied the fact that I added a whole contextual description that I am going to validate the secondary definitions. I'm going to use them like millions of other people do every fucking day, and I'm not going to have you tell me I can't use a word because you have some anal problem with it. Cannibalism, okay, there's some metaphorical content in the sense that it's not cannibalism in the strictest use of the word, where you're, can you distort a clip any clearer right in the middle of the sentence? I mean, right in the middle of the sentence? I mean, you're pathetic. So, I'm not going to play I'll play whatever, a little bit more of this, and then I'll come back. But, I mean, it's a 30-minute video, and I'm not going to give this guy this much time. Because he's frankly just he's not earning it. This is obnoxiously silly.
And there we have it, boys and girls. Need I say any more?
No, you don't need to. Just have some more conversations with Quinta, who's going to end up being, your only supporter here, I bet. A guy who calls the cops on people on the internet. And another guy of outstanding character by your standards. Fuck.
I must say, those are the most egregious examples of Inmendham maligning my character. But it actually begins ever so subtly with him laughing and saying that, oh, this discussion is going nowhere, and trying to portray me and my strategy of dialogue as irrelevant.
Again, I'll say it's insane. I'm sorry. You don't sit there and start a dialogue with somebody by saying, well, these 4 premises, well, they're all metaphors. Fuck you. I mean, that in itself was silly. The expectation that, oh yeah, well, I'll just agree that's all nonsense talk. Why don't you just throw the word evolution away? Evolution is conceptually vague, right? I mean, without some details, you could go all kinds of little directions with that word in terms of whether, and even the concepts like natural selection. Oh, well, that implies agency and blah, 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 blah. Well, it only does so to a non-scientist. So why don't you just destroy every word in the vocabulary until people can't talk to each other anymore? Yeah, that's insane. I'm sorry. It's fucking insane. Especially in the context of 4,000 videos where I have extensively defined the words as I use them.
Just to lay the foundations of the undermining of and suggesting that I am a person of poor intellect and should not be regarded.
Whatever. I've not said that. I've said you're a person of swollen anus. Anyway, heightened anal sensitivity. Probably don't know. I mean, it's probably too American a reference, but being anal means, yeah, you're a putz. Yeah, a nerd putz. You're a nerd times the speed of light squared. Anyway, I get back to this crap. A nerd with a black hole. Yeah, metaphorical language. Ooh. Alright, so these were 9 minutes. Maybe I'll play some of what's coming. He's on the word cannibalism again. So I'll see what it says. Poor intellectual traits. I don't know. I tend to say I've said in videos before that I think you are intelligent. I just think, yes, you've broken your own intelligence by twisting it in knots. And not having, I guess I'm going to make the accusation, of not having any real intellectual honesty as a principle. Because this is just intellectually dishonest, what you're doing. It's intellectually dishonest to pretend you don't know what cannibalism means. Yeah. You called it a waste of your time. Well, no, I'm saying it's a preposterous waste of my time to sit there and play vocabulary games in a discussion. This is about the content of the statements, not whether I have proper sentence structure or some other bullshit. And this is bullshit. I'm not going back to grammar school and having an argument with some crazy woman in a funny hat about whether I have too many verbs in my sentence. Fuck you. This is bullshit. He talks about my style. Again, yours is the style that is failing to communicate. You know, I don't have to embrace your bullshit. It's that simple. You think my bullshit is bullshit? Well, fuck you. Your bullshit is just twice as the pile is 5 times, a million times the speed of light squared bigger. Effective. He says he claims that he conceded the effectiveness of my style, my use of these metaphors, and yet in your video you clearly said, well, we can just discount this sentence. The whole sentence is now void because the word cannibalism is used, and you can't do that. You did that. You struck your finger through it and put a X, a red mark on it. You did that. Go watch your own video. You discounted the entire statement. So don't tell me you made any concession, because your actions speak louder than words. There we go again. So I have cause. Just play your own clip and quit. This is just bullshit. So let's just play a few seconds to see if he says something.
You know, in the sense that he uses it is figurative.
So again, if you use the second or third or fourth definition of some words, it's figurative now. It's not explicit. I'm saying the concept of cannibalism is explicit. Everybody understands conceptually the concept of kind-on-kind exploitation or abuse or use. It's perfectly valid use of the word, and it's just idiotic for you to oblige me to make non-lyrical sentences less hearable, less brain-friendly sentence structure to placate one anal nerdy fuckhead. I'm not going to do that. Sorry, you're going to have to do a little bit of work, anal fuckhead. Take the anuses out of your ears and play fair. You know what the word cannibalism means. Damn it. I know you do. You know what the concept of cannibalism is. Ay. Just pathetic. Anyway. So he just keeps making these accusations, and while he accuses other people of making accusations. So he's called my use of the words as loaded, and with this accusation of some sort of pejorative, deliberately pejorative. And I've already stated this, I'll state it again. There's no way to say it nicely. I mean, you could. I suppose you could say something insanely stupid to make incest sound like something other than incest. I had an example in my head, but I've lost it. So but yeah, we all know that you could sit there and try to deliberately and willfully change the meaning by changing, the interaction. You could describe rape as some sort of, communication between people. You could do that, but I'm just saying for the sake of this argument, to end this argument completely, I'll say go ahead and rewrite my statement for the anal crazy fucks of the world and just put kind on kind exploitation as the description. He thinks the word exploitation is invalid, let him try to make that figurative language. I mean, it's clear that that's all that's being done. One animal is being sacrificed, kind on kind sacrifice. You want to call it that? So you want to change the language for your suitability? Change it for your suitability. But I'm not going to presume the rest of the human race too stupid. Should I do that? I mean, I suppose there's some purpose in writing everything for retards. But again, that can be patronizing. So there's a danger there also. So anyway, but he keeps saying he's won a point, which is just so obnoxious when clearly I'm arguing his point. I'm saying you haven't won anything, asshole. I'm standing here, fuckhead. Alright? You doing your little dance in the ring, okay, when my gloves are still on and I haven't hit the canvas yet, is bullshit, alright? Because I'm going to punch your face in. Get anywhere close to being honest. Throw an honest punch. And I'll knock you the fuck out. This is just clearly bullshit. You know what these words mean? If I gave you a fucking polygraph test, you would fail if I say things like cannibalism and you claim you don't understand its meaning. If I say poster child and you tell me you don't understand the concept, you'd be lying. And that's all you're doing here. You're lying to evade the meaning of the sentences, to play games to evade. You're not playing by Marcus of Queensberry rules. You're cheating this argument all over the place, and that's simply and plainly what you're doing. You're a fucking cheater. I'm sorry to have to tell you that. I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings, but if you look deep inside yourself, from the Hannibal, oh, she's just going to get the call from Hannibal. If you look deep inside yourself, okay, you're going to see the truth, and the truth is you're playing a fucking goddamn literacy game in the middle of a conversation about something entirely different. And it's bullshit. So let's play a little bit.
And subscribing to intellectual standards. Clearly, removal of parts is mentally connectable with the idea of flesh eating. Okay? Now, it may be that you could...
Well, look, even his dopey definition, the eating of flesh of an animal by another animal of its own kind. So it's even using the word kind. Shit. So the definition is itself a bit vague, don't you think? Providing a bit of room for expansion, kindness versus species. Yeah. I think you're going to be in trouble right there, shithead. Let's play a little bit more.
But to argue that removal of parts is exploitation but it is stretching the definition.
Says you. I don't think there's anything. Oh, there's Hannibal making the call. Dr. Lecter. Dr. Lecter. I'm having a friend over for dinner. Oh, he's a classy guy. Anyway, unlike this fucker, you could get a fair fight from old Hannibal. Sort of fair. Once you don't like it, you're in trouble, but you know, you deserve it. It's the way it goes, fuckhead. So anyway, again, there's just no point in arguing this to pieces. Don't use the word cannibalism. Use kind on kind use. Kind on kind. I mean, frankly, it is consumption. If that makes it clear for you, kind on kind consumption. I don't care. But you're an idiot. This is idiotic. I'm sorry, this is idiotic, and that makes you an idiot. Yeah. Just goes on and on. So anyway, he concedes to the word. He accepts or suggests replacement of the word cannibalism with the word exploitation, which is okay. I think it's likewise pejorative, but I would argue that it lacks the depth of the word cannibalism, in the sense the word exploitation does not describe the nature of the exploitation, which is often in nature where you are exploiting something that is in fact better than you, as with a parasite infecting a great organism and having its skin fall off. It doesn't say anything about the depth and breadth of the invidious and insidious nature of the exploitation. So fine, for your sake, use that word. I'm going to continue to use words that I think are more descriptive, and you've offered, as I've stated, all you've done is say you can't do this is somehow inappropriate, and yet you've not suggested the more appropriate, more descriptive language. Not even anything close. Not something that's, you're giving me something better. You're not even giving something in the ballpark. Not even something I can compare my language to and say, well, this is why my language is better. And yet you're claiming authority. You're saying you've won a point, and you've won nothing if you have nothing in the field. If you have no players on the field, you can't declare victory. It's a perfect game because, I didn't throw any pitches, and so they couldn't hit the ball. Yeah, well, sorry, that's not the definition of perfection, buddy. So now he's back on the words, on the commodities one, the precious, blah, blah, blah. So, I'll play a little bit. Just going to change the subject now. It's great.
Some embodiment, one way or the other, and the statement that I would be more inclined to accept, is about his value conceptions. Just try and find my note on the sentience's value. Yeah. So this statement is a concrete statement, and I'm prepared to deal with the concrete statements. So this again. Strawmanning my position.
It's not strawmanning your position. You're just illustrating the fact that you're playing games. I mean, clearly, all you have to do is put this statement ahead of the other statement, declare it a premise, and say you don't move forward till you accept these premises. If you don't accept a premise, then the premise has to be argued or the conversation is ending. The logical chain can't be maintained if there's premises you reject. I'm saying that if you accept this premise, then the language of my precious commodities is clearly describing this circumstance, and you can no longer have an objection to it. It's describing this circumstance. I mean, again, you know this, so I'm saying I can't only call you deliberately dishonest in this intellectualism. It's intellectual dishonesty, and it's not even the kind of dishonesty that is game playing and manipulation. This is a willful effort A willful, deliberate effort to deconstruct with the purpose of confusion and distortion and obfuscation. This is obfuscation at its worst and most glaring. So yeah, I'll make that accusation as hard and as firmly as I can make it. There's no way you don't understand these words. There's no way you don't understand the use of these words in this context, and you're just trying to find a technicality, some bullshit like the guy's pant leg is too long or his sock is the wrong color, and call yourself the winner. And it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Nasty ass bullshit. So anyway, I'll just watch the last 5 minutes. Alright, so we finished. So just more style complaints. That's all. Some expectation that there might be an apology that I owe him for something. No, sorry. Even this whole first blood argument is just so bogus. Again, he's the one saying I was deliberately using pointed and pejorative language, already compromising the intellectual integrity of my statements. So this is just bullshit. And we'll leave it at that. I think I've made my points. There's nothing else to say here. I can't. Like I said, this communication is going to be tedious beyond belief. If you're going to play these games with words, the meanings are understandable. If you want more, I can give you more definition of the words and how I'm using them and why I'm using them. I'm never afraid to do that. If you want the sentence further explained, I'll further explain it. So this is just bullshit. And again, it's just a waste of time to go inside the sentences. The whole point of this logic is to go outside the sentences and put them from a bigger picture together. Dissecting the individual words is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Draws first blood. And again, I know what that means. Yeah, you say first blood to somebody, they know what it means. We don't need to dissect that and disqualify that statement, do we? Is there any point in somebody doing that, saying, oh, that title's invalid because that's a metaphor and an analogy? It's not really an explicit statement, so there's no point in saying it. Of course there's a point in saying it. They understand the meaning is simple. It's understood what it means conceptually. 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 I'll say it slower. Will that help you if I talk slower? Anyway. So yeah, now he says he's going to move on to the imposition argument. Key factors in the imposition argument is acceptance of this game analogy, and that the game has been recognized to be not too good, self-destructive in many respects, and that it lacks these key components of any game we would play, which is consent and fairness. If you don't have those components, you don't have a game. Pretty much. Yeah, entirely. Deserve has nothing to do with it. Yeah, we don't willfully play games where deserve has nothing to do with it. Except for lotteries and stuff. Silly games of no consequence. Games where there's a high risk of hard and grotesque failure. We're unlikely to do that. If deserve doesn't have something to do with it. Except people will paralyze their children to play football. But again, I'm not the one saying that's smart either. Anyway, so that might be a decent analogy. Clearly, people are willing to paralyze their children for a stupid game. That's something I would do. If I'm going to go to the trouble of making an intelligent organism, and then I'm going to go and throw it on a field and have somebody try to cause it a brain injury. Why would I do that? Jeez, people are so fucking stupid. Anyway, yeah, refrigerator goes on, everything dims here. So, yeah, I'll do it. Short, landlord's working on it. I mean, I am a tenant, so, in a sense, it's not my problem, but I'm smart enough to know if it's the landlord's problem, it's my problem. See, I'm smart enough to know that I pay the bills, not the landlord. So, if this place costs him more money, if his taxes go up, my rent goes up. That's right. If he has to spend $1,500 for a new electrical service, yeah, I'm going to pay for it. We all know that. I mean, all us smart people know that. So anyway, till next time and such, so forth and whatnot.